Record to cloud. The sound on. Technology is beautiful. Sound on. There you go. Right, sound should be on, I believe. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I just need to make sure that we are live on Facebook. So I'm just going to get my Facebook live on before we begin. Bear with me. Yeah, we're recording, we're live. Okay. Let's go. Love technology. It's beautiful. Let's go into empowerment so I can see you guys if you're on, and I can connect with you from there. Yeah, there we are. We're live. Let's go in. I'm just going to see you guys. Okay. Get the mute off. All righty. All right, welcome to another episode of Empowerment TV. At Empowerment, as you know, our slogan is very, very simple. We like to protect others, heal others, and inspire others to give more, be more, do more, and have more in their lives. That's why we keep doing these shows. These shows are really all around people's mindset and their ability to succeed in life as a whole. So I hope you guys have been enjoying all the previous episodes that we've been doing and the shows that we're putting out to you. And I hope you've enjoyed our guest stars as well. In the future, there'll be more guests coming on. Today, I wanted to focus on something around the pandemic. So I want to talk about the power of adversity. I say it again, the power of adversity and why that's really, really important. Now, we're all going through a pandemic right now. We're going through so many different things that we've not faced before. This is unprecedented. And many people are handling it and dealing with it very, very differently. And I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I went on live to go daily live and do like a daily mindset motivation or inspiration for people to cope, because we had a lot of friends that were, you know, single and alone, and they didn't have a family around them. And usually it can be hard, you know, when you're in isolation by yourself, our thoughts can run riot with us. So it was really important that, you know, I was able to reach out and do something during that period. Obviously, we're doing daily for a period of time, and then obviously we're doing a weekly show through Empowerment TV, but there'll be lots of other videos coming out by myself that I've pre-recorded that I'm going to be posting regularly, either once a week or every other week. It's going to be pretty powerful, but again, they're all just around mindset to help you to give more, be more, do more, and have more in your lives. All right, without any further ado, I want to talk about the power of adversity today, and through that, I'm going to take you through a series of slides that I prepared for you earlier for this purpose. Not only do I want to look at what adversity is and why adversity is a good thing for us to have, you know. In life, I truly believe there's no good or bad thing. Everything is just an experience, but there are consequences for our actions, and that's a fact. So we want to look at adversity, and then we want to look at some of the attributes, characteristics that you need to start adopting or having in order to be able to deal with any crisis, any adversity, any pandemic, anything that shows up in your life. Okay, I think you guys will enjoy this. Okay, but hey, you tell me, you be the judge. And if you have any comments around this, put the comments below. If you're watching this live, then please interact with me, join in the conversation. Let's have an honest, candid conversation here. Press the like, push the love button. I've got my phone here so I can see, and while I'm looking down, I can see if you're on live. I know there's one person listening now, that's great, but if you want to make yourself available, just say hello, say hi, that would be great. I love it. It's kind of get lonely up here as well, you know what I mean? So yeah, but here we go anyway. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching a pre-recorded version of this, here we go. I'm gonna have to share my screen here to bring up my slides. So let's just share my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen as well. There you go. Okay, let's bring that up and voila. Open that up. Okay, we're talking about the power of adversity today. And that's the topic that we're on about. So the first thing that I want us to look at here, there's always a lag time between Facebook and the screen. So hopefully you guys can see it. Beautiful. All right, so the power of adversity. Now, let's look at what adversity really is. What's adversity? That's a crisis, that's a challenge, something that we're going through right now. COVID-19 is an adversity, it's a crisis that the world is dealing with at large, but not just the world now, every single individual. We've been all affected by this adversity. Now, one of the questions that most people ask is, why do we have adversity? Why do bad things happen? You know, why is it that people are cursed? Why do we have tsunamis? Why do we have floods? Why do we have all these things? Why do these things happen? You know, and people used to even question God. Oh, there is a God. So if there's a God, why are all these things, crazy things happening to the world? Well, part of my understanding was, I used to be one of those people, by the way. One of my understanding now through my spiritual growth and development, by the way, we're all spiritual. It's just something that we have to activate, something that we have to look to learning. And through meditation over the last 20 plus years, what I've come to learn and understand is that once we quieten the mind, we can really focus and listen to our own intuition. Now, there's a beautiful quote that sums this up for me, and that says, it's coming up shortly. I'll wait for the lag time to come on Facebook as well. And it's so beautiful because it says, adversity is the catalyst for mental toughness. And I truly believe that. I'll say it again. Adversity is the catalyst for mental toughness. And this is a lovely quote here by Earl Campbell. And he says, he's a professional footballer, by the way. He says, if it weren't for the dark days, we wouldn't, and I repeat again, if it weren't for the dark days, we wouldn't know what it is to walk in the light. Wow, that's so beautifully said. You see, when we look at things that are happening to us, a challenge, a battle that we're going through, a crisis that we're going through, when we start to view them as bad events and negative events, they propel us into this cycle when we start feeling self-pity for ourselves, not knowing where we're going. But actually, when you think about all the stuff that's happened to you in life, over a period of time, in the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, when you look back at that event, you can certainly, without a shadow of doubt, look and go, oh, that happened because of that. That happened because of that. Wow. Because that happened, I'm now doing this. I'm sure we all have moments like that. So they say hindsight is a wonderful thing, because in hindsight, when we look back, we actually see the results and we're like, oh my God, I'm really excited. I'm so glad that happened. I'm so glad this happened to me. Okay. So that's one of the things that, you know, adversity is for. I don't want us to view adversity as a negative thing anymore, because when we go through a crisis, we pull dormant resources within ourselves that we never knew existed within ourselves to the forefront. We learn new skills, we do new things. Now, case in point, we've had COVID-19, and it has hit a lot of businesses, especially businesses like myself, you know, no income through March, April, May, June, you know, zero, nothing at all, no job, no work, because we run events, right? We run events and nothing. So what do we have to do? Well, it's telling us one thing is we have to pivot, we have to change, we have to find a new direction. Now, what most entrepreneurs are doing is they're getting online. They're creating their program and they're finding a way to provide their service that they're providing through live events online. They're using Zoom, they're using webinars, they're using everything. Case in point, now we're online, right? So we have to shift, we have to learn new skills. So now we might view that as a terrible thing. I mean, nobody wants that on anyone, because many beautiful, beautiful souls have lost their lives. And we send our condolences to all those families. We send them lots of love and light. Nobody will wish that on anybody. But it's often said that in a battle, World War One, in a battle, in a crisis, lives are lost. It's unfortunate, but lives are lost. But at the end of the day, those of us that are remain, those of us that are left, we've got to learn from it. Their deaths cannot go for naught. We have to find a way of coping with it. And I know currently they're talking about what's happening with COVID-19 going forward. Well, I got news for everybody. It's here to stay. We got to learn to live with it. We got to learn to cope with it because it's here. Life will never be the same again. It just can't be, so we've got to learn to deal. We've got to learn to cope with it. And here's an exercise for you that I want you guys to do right now. Okay. If you're watching this live, please say hello, put your comments through because I'm on a slideshow now. I can only see your comments and your likes, and I can only see that you're available. So if you have any comments, I'm looking at my iPhone here so I can see your comments. So put your comments, but if you have any questions, then please join in the conversation. So here's an exercise for you that I want you to do right here. An action step for you today is list 3 most difficult adversities that you have faced, and then find 5 good things that has happened to you as a result of each one of them. Okay, I'll repeat that. So 3 adversities that has happened to you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3 adversities that happened to you, and then 5 good things that have come out of each of those adversities. You see, when you do this exercise, you start to train yourself to see the good in adversity, and your fear of the future challenges will dissipate or will just disappear, literally, okay? So when things happen in the future, you don't go panic, fear, crazy, losing your hair and screaming. You calm down. You ask yourself some good quality questions. Okay, this is happening. All right, it's tough. All right, okay. How can I maneuver through it? Who do I know that can support me through this? And what are the learnings from this event? What are the learnings as a result of this event? How can I allow this adversity to allow me to grow? How can I grow from this experience? Wow, those are great quality questions, because when you start to ask those kind of questions, you start to look at what to do. I remember early in the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, through meditations with my spiritual mentor and a group that I belong to called Shift, Shaping Human Intellect for Today and Tomorrow, we started meditating, and our mentor brought out a lovely meditation that we could all do every day. Because the virus is here, the virus is a living thing, it's in the environment, it's in the ether. So what we started doing was we started meditating and focusing every evening that this virus is benign and harmless, benign and harmless, benign and harmless, benign and harmless. And we started that because it's going to affect people, it's going to be around, isn't it? So we've got to start focusing on some kind of energy and putting that energy out. We did that for, I believe, a whole month or 2, just focusing and meditating on it, And hopefully, we pray they'll find a cure to it, and we'll be able to manage like the flu, like everything else that we've had in the future, HIV, Ebola, all of these crises, all of these great adversities that we've been able to cope with. You see, human beings, we got grit, and we're really, really resourceful. When it comes to it, we get resourceful. As Tony would say, there are no unresourceful people, there are only unresourceful states. So we've got to put ourselves in the right state to do the right thing. All right, so that's adversity. Knowing what I told you about it, I love it. And now I want to talk about some of the characteristics that we need to have in order to allow us to cope well with adversity or crisis, okay? I think I've got about 19 of them. Let's see how much we get through in the time that I have. Okay, here we go. First one, thinking. Thinking. You need to adopt what we call a world-class thinking. You see, world-class wealth begins with the world-class thinking. If you are going to create wealth and you're going to think positively, you've got to change the way you think. Wealth is the product of a man's capacity to think. Your ability to think is phenomenal. Now, this is going to sound funny. Most people think they think, but they're not thinking. 95%, actually even higher than of the population, All we're doing is going through mental activity and we think we're thinking. Mental activity is not thinking, okay? Thinking is thinking higher and bigger than your current circumstance. It's thinking higher and bigger than your current circumstance. I'll give you an example. If your goal, if you're driving, let's say, a Ford Focus right now, that's what you drive, Ford Focus. And then the following, maybe 3 or 4 years later, you say, okay, my new goal is to get a Ford Focus. Well, that's not thinking. That's just mental activity. You know how to get a Ford Focus. You get me? You know how to get a Ford Focus. You've already got it before. You're not thinking bigger. So if you are driving a Ford Focus and your goal is to get Range Rover and Vogue, now that's thinking. Your goal is to get a Ferrari. Your goal is to get now that's completely new thinking. That's thinking. That's something new that you've not achieved before. That's something that's higher than what you currently have. Okay? So that will give you an example of real thinking. And most people, they say the current level of thinking that created the problem that you're having, or the crisis, or the battle, or the challenge, or the frustration that you're going through, that current level of thinking is not going to solve it. So you need to adopt a different level of thinking, which is higher than that of your problem. That's it. If we start to think that way, we'll pull ourselves out of a lot of our, struggles and worries that we're going through. So that's that. Next, you love this one. Concentration. Concentration. It's coming up. There's a bit of a lag time here. Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the power of adversity. And I've just given a definition of adversity. And adversity is the catalyst for mental toughness. In order for us to deal with adversity, I'm going through some of the characteristics, some of the traits that we need to have. So we just talked about the first one, which is thinking, your ability to think higher than your current circumstances. The second one is your ability to concentrate. Develop immense capacity for sustained concentration. Because if you want to do something, we've got to be able to focus on it and concentrate on it till we see you through. And there's a lovely quote here saying, nothing can add more power to your life than concentrating all of your energies on a limited set of targets. Basically, you decide what you want to do and you focus on it and you concentrate on it. Okay? Really, really powerful. The next trait that we have to help us with adversity is belief. This is a huge one. It's a huge one, belief. Now, develop world-class belief. I love this. They can because they think they can. Or as Henry Ford would say, if you believe you can't and you believe you can, you are absolutely right. No one can deny you that. Listen, I had to learn this the hard way personally. Growing up, I used to feel inferior to everybody else. I didn't believe in myself. And I used to stammer, couldn't speak in public, all of those things. You said boo and I will jump. I used to be so frightened of my own shadow. So belief is the biggest thing. Once you start to believe in yourself and your own abilities and your own skill set, it will get you far. There is nothing on planet Earth that is created without a belief. So you need to have a bulletproof belief in whatever it is that you want to do. That's going to help you, especially during a crisis. You got to believe that this too shall pass. I love that word. Write that down, by the way. This too shall pass. You have to believe that. This too shall pass, no matter what you're going through, okay? Nothing is permanent. Everything is transitional. Everything is moving. So you have to believe you will see this through. And if you believe it, your belief will see you through. It will produce the facts for you. All right, next one is commitment. Commitment. I love this. It's saying, it's coming up in a minute, it's saying, make a do or die commitment. And there's a lovely saying here. I'm going to read this out. It says, you cannot keep a committed person from success. Place stumbling blocks in his way, and he takes them for stepping stones. And he will climb to greatness. Take away his money, and he will make spurs of his poverty to urge him on. The person who succeeds has a program. He fixes his course and adheres to it. He lays his plan and executes them. He goes straight to his goal, and he's not pushed this side and that every time a difficulty is thrust in his way. If he can't get over it, he goes right through it. George Gilder is an author. Beautiful quote there. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Commitment is the fuel to success. Once you're committed to something, you make it happen. Next, competition. You see, a lot of the time, most people have a competitive nature. And I believe we all should have a competitive nature, but not in the way society tells us to be competitive. You know, I'm saying here, evolve from competing to creating. You see, creating, get out of there. Creative people rarely need to be motivated. They have their own inner drive that refuses to be bored. They refuse to be complacent, and they live on the edge, which is precisely what is needed to be successful and remain successful. Whatever you think of him, that was by Donald Trump. He actually came up with something of note that actually makes sense for once. Yeah, so when I look at being competitive, it's a really good thing to be competitive. I'm very competitive. Even playing games with my kids, I'm competitive. Playing games with my friends, I'm competitive. But I liken competition to the game of golf. Have you ever experienced playing golf? Golf is one of the most healthiest games to play and be competitive with your fellow golfer. Because I call it a healthy rivalry, not competition. It's not where if I have this and then if I take this and you have nothing. No, it's not. From an energetic point of view, we can be playing golf together. I'm competitive with you, you're competitive with me, but we're side by side. We're having fun, we're enjoying the course, but yet I want to beat you and you want to beat me. But we can both wish each other well. If you hit a good shot, I can admire you hit a good shot. If I hit a great shot, you're gonna, wow, that's a phenomenal, well done. If you hit a good putt, I can praise you, you can praise me, but yet we're competing against each other. How wonderful. That's the way I like to view it. So move away from this unhealthy attitude of competition where dog eats dog, where it's a pie, you cut through it, you have some, and then there's none left for anybody else. In the universe, energetically, it's not like that. It is, when I take something, another one appears. When you take something, another one appears. There's always enough for everybody. There's always enough. So let's evolve from being competing to be more creative, okay? And creative sense means once we're creating more for others as well, not just for ourselves. So if I take, there's another one there for somebody else. If you take, there's another one there for something else. And that's a healthier way of looking at competition. So when you have that attitude, when crises come, you don't crumble and go, oh, they've got all the good stuff and I've got nothing for me. No, there's always enough for everybody. You just got to have that, again, go back to the way you think and your approach towards it. All right, next. This is a big one. Coaching. What do I mean by coaching? I mean, you have to be coachable. During a crisis, during a pandemic, you know, there's always a lifetime with this coming up. You have to be coachable. Great coaching is helping people discover what they already know. I love that. Bill Goves is a great professional public speaker. Great coaching is helping people discover what they already know. Now, there's always something inside of you that tells you that you can be more, you can do more, you can have more, and you believe in that. One of the best ways to accelerate this is to be coachable, you know, and most coaches, sometimes we're not coachable. And I had to learn this the hard way, because sometimes we think we know it all. And there's a feeling when you think you know, and you think you know it all, always use the phrase, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? You know, because there's always more to learn, right? Life is a school of learning. So open your mind and be coachable. All right, next, creativity. We mentioned on that again. Be mentally engaged in the creative process, okay? Always be creative. The creative person wants to know about all kinds of things, ancient history, 19th century mathematics, current manufacturing, technology, flowers, arranging, and hog futures, because he never knows when these ideas might come together to form a new idea. So creative people are very creative. Look at us, look at your children if you have children. They're always experimenting, they're always looking at everything. They want to be creative. So learn about many things, have hobbies, because those hobbies might become a business later on, and actually those are the best businesses, your hobbies, things that you love, that you're interested in. Then when they become a passion of yours, then become a business of yours, it's not a work anymore. It's just something that you love to do. All right, next, curiosity. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the power of adversity, the power of crisis. What is the essence of it? We discussed it earlier, so you might have to watch earlier on. What I'm going through now are some of the characteristics or traits or attributes that you need to be able to handle adversity really, really well. So if you're just joining us, you can just press like or love. And if you have any questions, you can post them here so that we know that you're watching. If not, just enjoy it. It doesn't matter. So basically, when we're talking about some of the characteristics, one other one that you need to be able to deal with adversity is curiosity. We have to be curious. As children, we're naturally curious. We just lost that ability as we grow older. Curiosity is one of the most permanent and certain characteristics of a vigorous intellect. If you're curious, we can ask questions of ourselves and be a little bit more open to answers rather than be rigid with it. So curiosity is a great trait to have when you're dealing with adversity. The next one, which is one of my favorite, is humility. Humility. There's always a lifetime is coming up shortly on Facebook. Humility. Understand the power of humility. I love what Paul Beer says here. He says, if anything goes bad, I did it. If anything goes semi-good, we did it. If anything goes really well, then you did it. That's all it takes to get people to win at a football game for you, which is quite interesting. But I love another quote around humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less, which is really powerful. My spiritual mentor always says, no matter how high you are in life, you have to be humble. Actually, he says, the more power you have, the more humility you should have. The more money you have, the more humility you have. The more your status in life is raised up, the more humble you should be, which is a lovely way of viewing it. So when you're dealing with circumstances and dealing with issues like this, or adversity or challenges, it's always a good thing at the back of our mind to remember to be humble, okay? Right, opportunity. I love this one. Love this. Opportunity, another great trait. Never hesitate to seize opportunity. You see, opportunity is everywhere, literally everywhere. You see, most people say the lack of opportunity is ever the excuse of the weak. Fascinating mind, opportunities, every life is full of them. Every newspaper article is an opportunity. Every client is an opportunity. Every sermon is an opportunity. Every business transaction is an opportunity. An opportunity to be polite, an opportunity to be manly, an opportunity to be honest, an opportunity to make friends. Opportunities everywhere. I often say opportunity is a bit like the bus stop, okay? And the bus comes every, 15 minutes? Every 20 minutes, every half hour, every hour, whatever it may be. It keeps coming. It keeps coming. The question is, are you going to seize the opportunity? You see, so it's not a lack of opportunity. Opportunity is always there. Every crisis is an opportunity. Even this pandemic, do you know that people are winning? If you are in the stock market with everything going down and you bet on the downside of it, you're winning. You seize the opportunity of the pandemic. And people are making loads of money. People have pivoted. You see, online has gone crazy. Zoom, their revenue has skyrocketed. Amazon, all of these people that are online. And if you're a business that you're online, if you're an entrepreneur that you have online programs and all that, you profited handsomely throughout this period. So everything's an opportunity. As much as we look at the dark side of it, there's always a light. The question is, where is your focus? What are you focusing on? Okay, opportunities everywhere. And if we begin to start to look at crisis in our lives, problems in our lives as an opportunity, in businesses, we used to say, where there's a disgruntled client or whatever it is, it's an opportunity to turn them into an advocate. You see, opportunities everywhere. The real question is, do you see it? Do you see the opportunity or do you see the challenge? And it always depends on where you're focusing on. Going back to the original characteristic and trait of thinking. How are you thinking? Next, I love this one. It's called feed. Remember, we feed ourselves. We eat for fuel or for exercise or for pleasure, whatever, I don't know what you eat for, but we eat food, we feed ourselves every day. But the question really is, what are you feeding your mind? So we talk about feed your vision and starve your fears. Feed your vision and starve your fears. Okay, this is important because especially if you want to play the game to win. Now, if you want to play the game to lose, fine, feed your fears. Okay, but if you want to play the game to win, then you got to feed your vision. Okay, the world you desire can be won. It exists. It's real. It's possible, and it's yours. Ayn Rand, he talks about this. This is ancient, but it's still true to today. That whatever your goal is, whatever you desire, it can be yours. You know, you just got to be able to focus on it. There are kind of four ways when we're feeding our vision, and four things happens. Number one, you have an increased mental clarity when you feed your vision every day. You have an increased mental clarity. Number two, you have an intensified focus on it. And number three, you derive what we call a passion, a burning desire, fueled by frustration for that vision because you want to achieve it. And then finally, number four, you have a healthy obsession around it. If you have those things going, because when you feed your vision every day, you're crystallizing it, you're making it more real for you, okay? And that's a real power. The power of visualization is just powerful. So rather than seeing the gloom and doom, visualize what it is that you truly want, okay? And you pull yourself out of it mentally. All right, and that leads on beautifully to the next trait, which is about responsibility. You know, taking full responsibility, of your vision, taking full responsibility of the pandemic, doing something about it, because it's up to you. What can I do? And when you are 100% committed, guess what? The universe will conspire to send situations, circumstances, people that can help you and support you through it. But the commitment, the responsibility starts with you first. But if you say, I'm not responsible for it, I'm not going to do anything about it, then the universe just says, okay, we'll leave you alone if you don't feel responsible for it. But we are responsible. You know, in a way, we've contributed to this. Not our fault, but in a way we're responsible. When we say we're responsible, then we can do something about it. We can get off our backside and do something about it. Success on any major scale requires you to accept responsibility. In the final analysis, the one quality all successful people have is the ability to take on responsibility. Bar none. So you do well to adopt the same attitude. All right, moving on. These are really core skills now. We're talking about persistence now, you know, knowing the power of persistent. So you visualize something, you're taking responsibility, you're taking ownership, you're on your way. Guess what? You need to keep taking that step after step after step till you get there. Most of us take a few steps and then we stop and we give up, okay? We have to be persistent. If you truly believe 100% in what you're doing and what you're going for, then be persistent. Don't give up. Just because you tried a few things and it didn't work, don't give up. You know, keep on persisting until you find what works. But here's something that can help you, which is the next thing, which is really, really powerful, that can really help you. And that is mentors. Use mentors. I have found this incredibly useful in my life. Use mentors. It says, there's a quote by Walter Haley here from 1928 to 2003, entrepreneur speaker. And Walter says, the ultimate source of information and the whole world's living wisdom lies in the minds of others. All you have to do is ask. Mentors. So when you try something, it doesn't work. Try something, it doesn't work. Find mentors that have been there. This is what we in the entrepreneur world call mastery. Mastery is your ability. It's your ability to find somebody who is world-class in their industry, doing successfully at what they're doing, and for you to model directly from them. I'm telling you right now, it might have taken them 25 years of toil, trial, and error to get there, but you go directly and learn from them, it will take you 12 months to 18 months. How powerful is that? You collapse time frames. You know, that's amazing. So don't be afraid when you're going through crisis or through challenges with your business, with your health, with your finances, with your relationship. Find a mentor. With your spirituality, find a mentor. And that mentor will help you accelerate. I remember vividly. I used to stammer. I couldn't speak in front of a large audience. You said, boo, I'll be frightened of my own shadow. And I found mentors in this area of public speaking. I found mentors in those areas, and I accelerated my growth in those areas, which now you can put me in front of, I don't care, 1,000,000, 10 million people, one person, and I'm happy and I'm comfortable sharing, you know. I no longer have those fears anymore because I had mentors to guide me along the way. I still do. So mentors are a great way to accelerate yourself. So if you're going through a crisis, remember you're not alone. There are people that have gone before you. All you've got to do is ask, okay? And they'll help. And then also managing crisis, we have to understand laws. I call them universal laws. And one of the biggest law is called the law of cause and effect, understanding cause and effect. Society constantly expands its effort to correct effects rather than causes, which is one reason why the development of human consciousness proceeds so slowly. We're so slow in our development. We think we're developing quickly. We're not. We're one of the lowest intellectual species on the planet, which is quite scary actually as human beings, because we suppressed our growth because of this very fact. We focus on effects rather than the causes. What does that mean? Well, earlier I talked about your thinking. You have developed world-class thinking. Well, the cause is the way you think. The effect is what you produce as a result of your thinking. So in other words, your environment is your looking glass. So you don't have to look any further to visualize how you think. Look around you. Your thinking produces the effect, which is the results around you. If you don't like what you see, guess what? Change your thinking so you can change the effect. Don't focus on the effect to change your thinking. You're working in reverse because you can't focus on the problem or the effect or the solution that you've got or the results that you've got to change your current level of thinking. You can't. You need to think higher and bigger and better than your current level of thinking to be able to change the effect to something new. It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. So if you can do that, fantastic. All right. The next trait is a beautiful word. At the moment, we have a lot of issues going on in the world around this, but diversity is the word. And it is not something that we should be afraid of. It is something that we need to embrace. So we need to embrace diversity, not be afraid of it. I believe it was Rich McGinn, CEO of Lucent Technologies, who said, diversity is a competitive advantage. Different people approach similar problems in different ways. Isn't that a fact? So the more, listen, my spiritual world always put it beautifully. He says, look at your 5 fingers, okay? Your 5 fingers, they're all very different from each other, different sizes and shape, okay? Different, but they all are very useful to you because they allow you to grip something or hold something firmly. They allow you to hold a fork and eat with it. They allow you to hold a racket and play with it. They allow you to do stuff, okay? They're very diverse, they're very different, but yet together they serve a purpose. Same as every individual. So stop looking at whether you're black, white, Asian, chili pepper, or green pepper. Forget all that. We are human beings. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all humans. There's only one race, one nation, one people, period. Okay? And for those of you that might believe that you're superior to other people, I have news for you. Think about it. You come with nothing, you go with nothing. We all share the same nervous system, all right? Go and take a walk in a cemetery. Go and take a walk in a burial ground. And there you'll see CEO, Fortune 500 company, buried here, died so year, blah, 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 with a plaque on it. And then next to him is a janitor or a gardener or a gardener, so and so, died in 19, blah, 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 buried next to each other. So I have news for you. If you think you're superior to any human being on the planet, you're deluded and you're delusional. Honestly, get over yourself, okay? And eat some humble pie. We are all equal. We might all have different results in our life, and that's fine. You've done something that I haven't done, so you have better results. If I do what you do and I learn what you do, I might get a similar result, okay? There's no guarantee on that, but that's it. But in terms of being a human being and being that we are equal, there is nothing about you that's better than me. There's nothing about me that's better than you, okay? We're equal. You might have better results. You might have a better degree. You might have a better education. You might have whatever. That's fine, granted. But it does not make you a better human being than me or anybody else. And that's how we have to view that. So diversity is a beautiful thing that we have to embrace and work with all forms of people from all races, all sexes, all backgrounds, all genders, all ethnic backgrounds, because we're all one. And we have to embrace that oneness, okay? That's my pep talk on that one. Let's move on. It also helps in a crisis. So you don't feel like, oh, I can't talk to those groups. Maybe those group of people, I've got something that's going to help you out. But now because you've isolated them and you don't work with them, you don't talk to them, now you're stuck, okay? You get it? Let's just open up and stop all this nonsense and just get out there, embrace each other, brothers and sisters, love each other, and, you know, embrace diversity. All right, next. Alignment. I love this. I love this. Alignment. What does that mean? Well, rely on infinite intelligence. I always say to people, we believe that we are doing whatever it is that we're doing in our lives, but actually we're not. On a spiritual level, going a little bit esoteric here, even us, the act of making love to our partners and impregnating them and having birth, you know, we think, we provided the seed. No, the seed didn't come from us. The seed came from the creator. The seed came from the origin, whatever you believe it, okay? I use the word origin and creator as a neutral word. You know, it could be Jesus, it could be Allah, it could be Hare Krishna, whatever you believe, that's fine. But the seed came from that source. We don't have any ability to do anything. As a matter of fact, we think we can control what's going to happen in the next hour or the next minute. No, even in the next second, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, we have no control over anything. You see, there's often in the book that says that we think we have a goal, we have a desire, and it's up to the origin or the creator to see what portion of that we can actually physically manifest, okay? Because if you think as the ocean as the origin, and you are just a droplet of the ocean, but being a droplet, if you drop into the ocean, you become the ocean. If you think of the origin as the sun, if you think of a ray of the sun, if the ray of the sun connects with the sun, it becomes the sun. Okay, if you think of the origin as the desert and you're a speck of sand, that's all we are, just a speck of sand. But if a speck of sand drops in the desert, it becomes the desert. You see, so we are, as they say, the tiniest of the tiniest, and we are the largest of the largest. Hence why I said we're all equal. Doesn't matter where you think you are in life. So alignment is a beautiful way of connecting and quieting your mind and connecting with that part of you that actually does everything for you. You want to call it your soul, you want to call it your higher self, you want to call it whatever you want to call it. But through alignment, we can then rely on infinite intelligence within us, which resides in our soul, the cradle of our soul, to really help us out in doing what we want to do. You know, our job is to think about what we want and to deliver it to that part of our body and let go and allow it to function through us, okay? And that's really, really powerful. So when we do that, we're going through challenges, we have to understand this too shall pass. I said that earlier. Remember, nothing is permanent. Everything is transitional. So everything is moving through. So don't be caught up with the fear of, I'm sorry, pandemic, it's gonna kill me. Well, then it surely will kill you. But no, stop all the panic, quieten your mind, sit down, align yourself, and really connect. Just be silent. There's no super technique to all of this. Meditation, there's nothing to it. Sit down, be still, be silent. Because that part of you, the soul that resides within you, that part of you is always still, silent, observing. You are the observer of yourself. And in order for you to connect with that observer within you, you need to be still and quiet. You know, too much thought going on, too much noise going on in your head. You know, that's the material world. We need to connect with the energy world or the spiritual world, as they call it. And the only way to do that is to quieten your mind. Sit down, be still. 5, 10, 20 minutes will do you a world of good. Just try it. All right? Align, be quiet. Sometimes the solution will come to you through that because now you can hear your intuition. Everybody's intuitive. Everybody's a healer. Everybody's a medium. We just forgot to tap into it because we're so busy, caught up with all the noise around us and all the distractions we have around us. And what you got to do is sit, quieten down your mind, and align with that. That one part of you that knows everything, understands everything, that can give you exactly what you're looking for. All right, really, really powerful for solving, For remaining calm and having clarity, this is a really powerful technique to do. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes every day, I'm telling you right now, it would do you a world of good. All right, next attribute to deal with adversity is discipline. A big word. Discipline. This is something that I had to learn, that I can admit I'm still learning, having real discipline. Nobody ever taught me in my life, my family, self-discipline. I've had to learn it and by myself. So discipline is a huge topic. Choose discipline over pleasure, okay? I think it was Roger D. Graham Jr. He says, with self-discipline, anything is possible. I believe discipline is the ultimate key to success, as it determines your approach towards every day. Discipline keeps you focused and keeps you performing at a world-class level. I truly believe that. So self-discipline. And then last but not the least, we talk about communication. Communication. Be a powerful public speaker. Well, you don't have to be a powerful public speaker, to be honest, but your ability to communicate will go a long way in helping you through adversity and crisis. You know, there's a saying that says, I believe it's in the old book, it says, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open, ask and you shall receive. But most of us have stopped doing that. We stopped seeking, we stopped asking. Now, if I went back to college again, I would concentrate on 2 areas: learning to write and learning to speak before an audience. Nothing in life is more important than the ability to communicate effectively. And that was Gerald R. Ford, US president. Nothing, he says, is more important. So one of the things that can get you out of a crisis is your ability to communicate and share your message, like I'm doing here. So if you can do this, if you can learn this skill, it will really go a long way in helping you to deal with adversity or crisis in your life. So there you have it, very, very quickly, those traits. I have a free gift for you, but I can just recap what these traits are very, very quickly. Let's go back to the beginning, and then I'll share the gift that I have with you. For some of you who are just joining me, just to wrap up, I want to go right to the very beginning and conclude what I gave you as a quick recap. So let's go right to the very beginning. So there's a bit of a lag time here, so it takes a while for Facebook to catch up with me. So I just wait. I can see when you guys are there. It's coming. There we go. So the power of adversity. We're talking about the power of adversity here today. And we described it and say adversity is the catalyst of mental toughness. It gives you mental toughness. So there's a footballer that says, if it weren't for the dark days, we wouldn't know what it is to walk in the light. How very true. I totally agree with him. Now, I gave you an exercise very quickly. And the exercise was, list 3 most difficult activities that you faced. And out of those 3, for each one, write 5 good things that have happened as a result of each one. Because when you do that, you begin to start to train yourself to see the good in adversity, and your fear of future challenges will dissipate. No longer will you be facing the future with trepidation and fear. You just look forward like, it's just another thing to look forward to. Because remember, without adversity, without these challenges, how can we tap into hidden resources lying dormant within us to change? You know, we have better skills now. We have new skills as a result of COVID-19. New skills. You've learned new skills. People have learned to do webinars. People have learned to public speak. People have learned to go online and create online programs. People have learned to do videos because now they have to be online. They were forced to do so. New skills as a result of that, you know? Other benefits from the adversity. The planet has had time to breathe again. The planet has had time to kind of relax and clean itself, you know? The planet said, you know what? I need a break from you lot. And he got a break from everybody. It's a moment to reflect, a time to reflect. What we found out, me and my wife, is we don't need a lot, you know, rather than eating out more, you're cooking at home more, you're doing more. So a lot of benefit has come out of it. Yet, unfortunately, the other side of it is when we go through a battle or crisis is loved ones are lost, you know, people lose their lives, you know, and that is unfortunate. But that's what we go through a crisis. So we send our love and light to all those people. as we said earlier. So there's always that balance. But for you, the question is, where are you focusing on? Are you focused on the panic and the fear aspect of it? Or are you focusing on the opportunities? And are you taking advantage of those opportunities as a result of the adversity? Because in hindsight, when we look back, something that happened to you 4 or 5 years ago, you look back and you go, that's why that happened. And because that happened, I'm doing this. Thank God for that happened. But during the crisis or the adversity, you were not saying that. You were probably cursing out loud. What the fuck? Why is this happening to me? Ah! But 4 or 5 years later, you look back and you're like, wow, isn't hindsight a wonderful thing? So we need to start looking at that deliberately, knowing that everything in life, there are no coincidence in life. Everything in life happens for a reason, okay? And there's a reason why things are happening in your life. Our ability to ask better questions, to think better, and to start to say, you know, what is there for me to learn? What experience can I gain from this problem? How can I allow this adversity to allow me to grow? Okay? And it's you allowing yourself to see those opportunities within it. Okay? And you'll find it, I promise you. So I went through a series of attributes and characteristics that we need to start adopting and having to help us to cope with adversity or crisis. I'm going to go through them now very, very quickly. I've already gone through them. I'm just recapping as a summary. So first one, thinking. You need to adopt world-class thinking. What was I saying there is the level of thinking that created a problem for you is not the level of thinking that's going to solve that problem. So what you've got to do right now is to think higher than that problem and have bigger, better goals than that problem to help you. Next one, we talked about concentration. Your ability to concentrate is one of the most beautiful skills you can have. So once you're clear and you know what direction you want to go in, now you got to allow yourself to 100% focus on that and concentrate on that until you get it done. Don't let anything distract you, okay? Completely concentrate. Next is belief. Belief is huge. You know, you have to have a bulletproof belief in yourself about the things that you want to do. You got to believe 100% in yourself and go for it. Next, commitment. I love this. It says, make a do or die commitment. Do we make a do or die commitment to the things that we want to do? Most of us don't do that. But if you do that, then you're fully committed. Go for it. Next, competition. I don't want us to look at competition as competition anymore. Stop looking at things as competing. Look at it as playing golf with a mate. I call it healthy rivalry, okay? So rather than competing, let's evolve from competing to being creative. Be creating, okay? It's not, you take something, there's nothing left for me. No, if I take one, energetically, there's another one for you. You take one, there's another one for somebody else, always energetically. There is enough to go around for everybody. So let's change our mindset around competing, change it to healthy rivalry. You have to be competitive. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm competitive in what I do. I'm competitive with my kids when I'm playing games. I'm competitive with my friends when I'm playing golf. But I can admire them. And if they won, I'm happy for them. If I won, they're happy for me. That's a healthy rivalry, okay? So it's good. Competition is about pushing each other. Pushing, not trying to say, I win and you lose. That's not a healthy way of looking at it. Next, coaching. You have to be coachable. I'm not going to dwell on this one. This is pretty simple and very straightforward. Be coachable. That's all. And get a coach if you don't have a coach. Next, creativity. You know, be mentally engaged in the creative process of creating things rather than consuming things. Let's become creators of things. And curiosity. They will say, curiosity killed the cat. Be curious. Be curious. Like a child again. Be curious. Next, humility. Understand the power of humility. And I said, the best definition of humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less, which is really powerful. The higher you are in life, the more humble you should be. Simple as that. Next, opportunities. You know, never hesitate to seize an opportunity. Opportunity is everywhere, all the time, ever present, ever constant, everywhere, all the freaking time. Never should you ever say there's no opportunity. The reason why I'm going to create it, opportunities everywhere. The question is, are you seeing it and are you taking advantage of it? That's the only question you've got to ask yourself. Feed, favorite one. Feed your vision and starve your fears. You feed your mind, right? Feed your vision. Talk about it. Focus on it. Visualize it. crystallize it, increase your mental clarity around it, intensify your focus around it, generate a burning desire for that vision, and you have what we call a healthy obsession for it. Okay, go for it. It will drown out your fears. They said, obstacle is what you see when you take your eyes off your goals. So focus on them, feed it. All right, responsibility. Take responsibility, take ownership for things. Stop pointing fingers and blaming people. Take ownership first, okay? Take ownership. Because when you point a finger, there's 4 pointing right back at you. All right, persistence. Know the power of persistence. You try something, it doesn't work. You try something, it doesn't work. Don't give up on the goal. Don't give up on the dream. Ask the right questions and keep persisting until you achieve it. It's called the ultimate formula, Persistence is the ultimate formula for achieving your goal. Never give up. Find out, which follows on to the next one beautifully, which is mentors. Use mentors, okay? There are people that have blazed the trail before you. They've left a trail of success. Success always leaves clues. So if you're struggling and you're stuck in business, in relationship, in health, in your spirituality, in sports, whatever area of life that you're stuck, there's always somebody consistently achieving it. Look for a world-class person in that area and learn directly from them, and you'll accelerate your growth very, very quickly. And you'll achieve success relatively easy. It might take them 25 years. It probably take you, 12 months to 18 months, because you're not learning, you're not going to be committing and doing the same mistakes yourself. Okay, really powerful. Have mentors. Laws, understand universal laws, especially the big one is the law of cause and effect. Cause is the way you think, effect is the results you get. Pretty simple. Next, diversity. Embrace diversity. A beautiful way of saying it, look at my 5 fingers. They're all very different to each other, different heights and shape and size, but guess what? They all come together for a useful purpose. They can punch an enemy, they can grab something, they can hold a racket. They're very useful. They can hold a pen to help me write. So they're very useful. So we have to embrace diversity. We're all different. We all look different, shape and sizes and all that stuff. Let's just embrace each other. Simple as that. Only one human race. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So embrace diversity. It will do you good. And then alignment, rely on your infinite intelligence within you, which is your soul, which resides within you. The cradle of your soul is in you. It's in every single one of you. God says, I created you in my own image. So therefore he resides within you. So if he resides within you, if you want to accelerate your growth and success, quieten your mind and align with that. Remember, you're always the observer of yourself, and the observer within you is still. Silence, always observing. So if you want to connect with it, you need to go still. You need to be silent. Sit down 5, 10, 15 minutes every day in silence and just focus. It'll do you a world of good, I promise. Discipline. Great. Choose discipline over pleasure. Discipline is the one core skills that will achieve success far greater than anything else. Something I had to learn. So having self-discipline, phenomenal. And then communication. Finally, learning to communicate and talk and share your ideas and share your skill sets. Learn to communicate and share your problems as well. Share with people that will help edify you, encourage you, inspire you, and allow you to grow. It's a great thing. Not just sharing with the naysayers that will just put you down and disempower you. So knowing who to talk to is great, but having the ability to talk and share your message, not just one-on-one, but one-to-many, could be a phenomenal skill set to have. All right, I have a gift for all of you in wrapping up. I hope you've enjoyed talking about the power of adversity. So adversity is very powerful in our life. Without adversity, we wouldn't be where we are today. Without all the struggles in life that I've been through, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be able to talk about it. It's actually giving me the ammunition to be steadfast, to be strong, to have mental toughness, to be able to deal with things that come in the future. And it will do the same for you if you see it that way and you view it that way. Really, really powerful. So I want to give you a gift. And here's a gift for all of you. It's coming up shortly. And it's a free gift. So coming up. Wait for it. Come on, lag time is a bit longer here now. It's coming. Yeah, there we go, voila. So free gift for you. Type in this link http://empowerment.co.uk/values, and there'll be a free gift for you. It's really around values, because when you're dealing with adversity and challenges, you need to understand what your own values are. Okay, and most people don't know what their values are, but your values are what's driving you every day. If I ask you, what's your top 3 to 5 values in all areas of your life? Most of you will struggle to tell me what they are. And if you know what they are, phenomenal, well done. Not many people have done that exercise. To look at all areas of life, whatever areas of life you have, your health, your career, your spirituality, your relationship, your family. What are your top 3 to 5 values in those areas? Because they're what is driving you in those areas. Because when you understand your values and you understand your purpose and your goal in life, that's what we call a marriage made in heaven. Now you're aligned on one course of action to take, rather than being panicky or fearful of anything. So what's driving you? In order to find that out, I'm giving you a free gift today. This is how to evaluate your actual values and understand your values in order to set balanced goals in all areas of your life. And this will allow you to be motivated and allow you to motivate you and inspire yourself for greater growth and empowerment. So go ahead right now, click that link. All right, I'll be sure to copy that link and put it into the Facebook page as well, but it's on here on the screen here. Copy that link and paste it and utilize it and get the free gift. Do the exercise. You'll be glad you did. Know what it is that's driving you, because our values are unconscious. We have to bring them to the forefront. Most people don't know what's driving them in all areas of life. Find out what's driving you in every single area of your life. All right, that's my free gift. I'm done. And if you need my support or need help from me, then you can connect with us. My name is Tosin Ogunisi of Empowerment, www.empowerment.co.uk, or if you want to send me an email, info@empowerment.co.uk. Connect with our Facebook at Empowerment Tosin, or YouTube at Empowerment Tosin. All right, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's lecture or today's Empowerment TV show on the power of adversity. And I will be seeing you next week for another episode of The Power Of. We don't know what it is. So if you have any idea of what you want to hear, we're going with the theme of The Power Of, and we fill in the blank. So whatever blank you want to fill in, that would be great as well. Type it in the comment below and let me know, and I'll be looking forward to that. So take care, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. All the best. Ciao. I'll just stop the sharing and we can end the show here. All righty. Take care, guys. Whatever you do, have a fabulous weekend. Remember, stay safe and stay healthy. All the best.